One of our greatest needs is good basic education for grades K through 12. As a science teacher, I obviously am a strong proponent of a solid education for all, but equally important is the strong foundation in literature, fine arts, foreign language, math, and social studies. As much as I love teaching science, I know that not every student I touch is going to grow up to be a scientist. But they are going to grow up. They're going to grow up to be consumers, to work in and run our factories and businesses, to serve in our governments at all levels, and to vote. To do these things, to be valuable, productive members of our societies, they need a solid, well-rounded education. Obviously, I feel that includes a basic understanding and appreciation of how science and scientists work. To provide that solid foundation for the for the students we are turning our societies over to, we need quality teachers, teachers who get a fair and just wage, schools that are well-maintained and well-equipped, and schools that are safe, nurturing environments. Secondly, discussions of climate change do not have to be confined to environmental science classes. Climate discussions can be introduced in virtually every discipline: economics, social studies, government and politics, theology. Our required freshman social science course is a class in human geography that spends considerable time with sustainability. Biology classes could discuss changes in phenological spring in their ecology units. Chemistry can introduce ocean acidification and acid-base units. When discussing energy and phase changes, glacial melting can be used as an example. When discussing electromagnetic radiation, the greenhouse effect can be introduced. I know that teachers' curricula are packed and may not allow much flexibility, but there's always the time to swap in a new and different example. When our students are exposed to discussions of climate change more frequently and in more diverse situations, the greater our opportunity to have an impact. And lastly, there are days in my AP Environmental Science class that my lecture seems to go something like this. Carbon dioxide levels are rising, temperatures are increasing, climate and weather patterns are changing, there are going to be droughts, floods, and famine. Sea level is rising, coastlines are disappearing, oceans are acidifying, fisheries are collapsing, mass extinctions are looming, and we're all gonna die. Class is over, you all have a good weekend. And that's a harsh route to go. But the good thing is there's always somebody in class that asks if there's any hope. And if there wasn't any hope, I wouldn't show up for work every day. The hope sits before us in our classrooms, in all those fresh young faces that are going to get out there and change the world for us. It's our job as educators to fan that hope and to equip them to face the future. Now I'd like to take the next few minutes to make sure we can get some questions from the floor. So do we have our microphones?
I'm blown away by you. How can we help Green Hope? What should we take away and go do? You have a website, we can contribute to it. How do we get this expanded in more than 10 countries, I think you said?
Yeah.
We need it in all 195 countries.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think that, yeah, we do have a website. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and we have an email. So yes, absolutely, online presence is extremely important. And I think the main thing that every single one of you can do is try to take the simplest steps in your own households to change your life and make it more sustainable. And I think that is really important because every small act counts. So whether it's switching to organic food or turning off the tap when you're not using it, I think that is really important, that we start with ourselves and then of course support every single person who wants to make a difference, especially not ignoring the children and young people. So yeah, I think that is something that me and every single one of you can do. But it starts from yourself. So if you change yourselves first and then your families and communities. So.
Hi, I'm Jamie Hassemeyer. Both of you are incredibly inspiring. I run an environmental club at my kids' grade school. And I think it's fantastic what's going on in higher ed, and I know there are some movements on the high school level as well, but I feel like we need to step it back a little bit and really get these kids when they are making their parents make changes at home. And that's packing waste-free lunches, that's paying attention to idling. I mean, it's like these simple low-hanging fruit things, but I've seen a change in the students that I hang out with when they're going home and teaching their parents. So not really a question, but more of a comment. And I don't know if you care to respond to how do we even raise the awareness and bring and help our parents right now who are, we're all busy, soccer practice, et cetera. But like, how can we drive home the importance of making these changes when our kids are toddlers and then move from there? Thanks.
I think leading by example is really important. It's not really fair for us to say we're hoping that the next generation that comes up is going to fix this problem, because clearly there's not enough time to wait for them to get to have as big of a voice as somebody like Peter Raven has. You know, we have to lead by example as adults in our own lives, in our homes, in our neighborhoods, and in our workplace, and challenge, you know, the people that we're with. If people say, "Oh, Mom, I love to eat meat at every single meal," you know, have them read something, have them read Michael Pollan, and then have a discussion about it, and say, what can we do to help contribute? I think leading by example as an adult is super helpful, and kids are so happy to be doing something good that builds community that they can all get around, and they will hold on to that and bring it into their lives as well.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I think it's really important to also have, like, yes, leading by example, and then when they grow a little older, also having that open mindset that my children can also teach me a lot, and I can teach them and they can teach me. So having that mindset, and I think that is really, really going to help. And I think also like a lot of people think that if you move to a sustainable lifestyle, you have to turn your entire life upside down. That is not the case. It's just making the simplest of changes in your lives and then like making it more sustainable. So having that idea that you're not uprooting your life, you're just making a few changes, consuming with care and doing more with less. That's what sustainable consumption and production is. But not uprooting your entire life. And yes, of course, having that open mindset to listen to the youngest members of society.
We have time for one more question from the floor, please. Thank you.
Basu? Okay. So you're an extraordinarily dignified and intelligent and passionate young woman. And I'm sure all the women you are around, all the young girls, will get that from you and learn to live a life of dignity as well, and fight for their dignity. But I want to know about you before you saw this bird on the beach tangled in plastic. So I understand that was the epiphany kind of for you, but what was your life like before in order to get you to this place to realize what you saw?
So I actually had a really cool upbringing because my parents saw like a sustainable lifestyle. They saw it as their normal, so I saw it as my normal. And around just before 8, I realized that it was not my friend's normal because what I did to help protect the environment, that came naturally to me, but not to others. And I'm also born on 5th June, that's World Environment Day, so I always thought it was preordained that I should grow up to become an eco-warrior. But yeah, I think just like before that, I had a very sustainable lifestyle. But then when I was 8 and I saw this picture, I realized I had to do something to change that, actually take action myself. And at 8, I thought I was old enough to start doing something for the planet.
And you were.
But that has, like, protecting the environment, sustainability has always been a part of my life. But I wanted others to also have sustainability in their lives. And that's when I started, that picture drove me to start doing something, actually, instead of just thinking about it or talking about it.
Okay, we're going to break for lunch now. Let's give a pause to all 3 sessions this morning. Oh my goodness. So.